Let's talk about angles and measuring angles with protractors. Let's review what we know about angles first. I'll start with drawing one. I'm going to have my initial side, and then I'll have what I call my terminal side here. I'm going to make these guys into rays. The point where they intersect is called the vertex. The two sides are known as sides, or sometimes arms. Initial side and terminal side if we're rotating. We might have points on our rays and name this angle ABC, where always the point in the middle of our list of letters here is the vertex. So here we have an interactive angle, and you can see that the measure of this angle is 29 degrees. I'm going to move the point A and try to keep the measure at about 29 degrees. Notice it doesn't matter how long my side is, the measure of the angle doesn't change. So one misconception children sometimes have is that if you had short little arms, that it should be a smaller angle than if you have long arms. And they're probably thinking about area, the full region inside, but really we're looking at this rotation for our angle. Math is Fun has a nice angle that you can play with here. We start by noticing that if you make a full rotation, that's 360 degrees. If you make half a rotation, that's known as a straight angle. We'll be using that one a lot, 180 degrees. A right angle is a fourth of a rotation, 90 degrees. Anything between 0 and 90 is an acute angle. Between 90 and 180 is obtuse. Greater than 180 is a reflex angle. We can measure our angle with degrees, so we can measure this rotation about a fixed point. We use the little circle as a degree symbol, and we measure it with a protractor, an angle measuring tool. Let's remind ourselves a little bit about protractors. Another great resource online is Math Playground, and here we have an interactive protractor. We're going to measure the angle between the yellow rays. The vertex goes at the center of the straight angle, and we line up one side with the edge of the protractor. Here I have on the left at 0, and then I'm going to use the tick marks and see that this is exactly halfway between 10 and 20. This is a 15-degree angle. Let's do another one. So here I could line up the other side. It doesn't matter which side we use. There I'm lined up with 0 degrees. The vertex is at the center of the straight angle, and this one happens to be a right angle, 90 degrees. We can have either side be the side that we line up with as long as we keep track of our numbers. Notice that there are two scales, and this one's obviously less than 90 degrees, so I'm going to use the scale that goes from 0 to 42. So you can play with this and refresh your protractor skills. This is a pretty fancy protractor. Next, we're going to make our own protractor. So with measuring, students can make their own linear ruler, right? You could have paper clips lined up back to back and mark them and make a measuring device. We're going to make a protractor in a similar way to understand angles a little better. We'll use a straight edge, pattern blocks, and our understanding of division. So here, this is our straight angle. I just traced a file folder and then put a dot in the middle, and that's going to be a rotation of 180 degrees. Now you can't see my point very well, but I put 2 of the square pattern blocks on. And so what I've done here is I've taken my 180 degrees and I've divided it into 2 equal parts. And here I'm talking about from our initial side, there's one part, there's the second part. This is our rotation that we're measuring here. And we end up with 90 degrees per part. So if I remove one of those square pattern blocks, this angle right here is a 90-degree angle, and I've made a protractor that measures 90 degrees. Let's go on to our green triangle. So again, I can start with my straight edge. There's my point, 180 degrees, half that rotation around a circle. And now I've broken it up into 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 3. And again, here I'm talking about the rotation, 3 equal rotations. So each rotation is going to have a measure. I'm going to have 180 degrees divided by 3 equal parts, 60 degrees per part. If I remove one triangle, I can see that I'm going to have a protractor that measures 60-degree angles. Next, let's look at the tan pattern block. Again, I have my straight angle, and now I'm dividing it up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. So I'm going to have 180 degrees divided by 6 equal parts, 30 degrees per part. So my 6 equal parts, right, I'm rotating for each tan pattern block, 6 equal rotations right there. So let's draw our protractor. So now I have a protractor where I have, this is a 30-degree angle, and I have a whole series of 30-degree angles. Once I've figured out the angles in a shape, then I can use it to measure other shapes. Here I have the yellow hexagon, and I've lined up 2 green triangles. I know that on these triangles, they have 60-degree angles. So I have 2 60-degree angles right here. So my hexagon, I'll just draw a rough one right here, has 120-degree angles.